What it do, crew excellence? It is your boy Justin Strickland, and I'm back on the ones and twos. We rolling, man. It's episode 102, and this is the Ladder Podcast. If you are new here, this is gonna be a dope episode. If you stay to the end, I'm gonna tell you how you can balance solitude and community, using both to become a whole person that is equipped and ready to deal with this new world that we live in. And so I hope you make it to the end, because I really got some good stuff for you. Because I don't think you might quite grasp how to balance, the two. I think right now in this world, we swing the pendulum one way or the other. We are almost completely by ourselves, almost completely in community, and we don't really see the power of both. And so I'm going to unlock that power today if you would just hang out with me to the end of this video. Let's do some housekeeping, man. If you in Crew Excellence, shout out to you. You already know the deal. Like, subscribe, share the video. I appreciate you. If you are new here, this is your first time at the ladder, welcome, man. This is a podcast all about leadership. My name is Justin, and I believe that you are a leader. And so I feel like it's my calling, my job, my purpose to develop you as such. Because I know that if you become a better leader, the world is a better place. So stick around for me for an episode. And if you enjoyed this content and learned something, go ahead and give me a subscribe. I would be forever grateful. All right, man, let's jump into this episode. I think I was reading a book or listening to an audiobook this week by C.S. Lewis, and he was talking about solitude. And this was like in the 40s or 50s, right? And he was talking about this concept that more and more in his time, people were being snatched away from solitude, being snatched away from the ability to sit alone and think, and how detrimental he saw that to the mind and to the ability to think deeply about things that matter lots. And I begin myself to contemplate, to think about how much more so in today's time do we struggle with solitude? How many people, more than ever, people are struggling to sleep because they can't turn their minds off. People are struggling with anxiety. People are struggling with FOMO. That is a medical term now. FOMO is a medical term. We are bombarded with advertisements, with marketing, with entertainment, with all these different things that tell us that if we are awake, we should be giving our attention to something, to our phones, to our TVs, to our tablets, to other people, right? They do videos of parties and post highlights, and you go, man, I should have been at that party, right? We are completely encouraged to give all of our time to something else other than solitude. And I think that is a grave mistake. I think that throughout history, those that have accomplished great things have had a healthy amount of solitude. They have spent time alone, wrestling and thinking and creating and becoming deeper than they were before they started their alone time. And so today I want to give you a balance. So I'm going to start off with what you can learn from being in solidarity or being in solitude. And then I'm going to give you on the back end what you can learn from being in community, because I think both matter. I'm not talking about solitude in a way that I think you all should go and become monks, right? If you are a monk, hey, thanks for watching. Didn't know y'all got on the internet. But I'm not encouraging you to be a monk, but I'm just encouraging you to take 30 minutes a day to spend time in solitude, because you can benefit. These are 3 ways that you can benefit from solitude. One is the power of reflection. Solitude gives you time to think about your actions, to think about your words, and to reflect. Because it's one thing to know what you did, but there's another thing to really understand why you did it. And solitude gives you an opportunity to trace that, to run that down, to be like, hey, when she said that made me upset, but why? And to really, really wrestle with that and think about that. When I saw that post on Instagram, I just had to comment. Why? What did that trigger, right? And solitude can allow you to reflect on those things. Solitude can allow you to give you time to reflect on your goals, to be honest, right? I know it's really popular that we all just chasing goals and we all moving towards it at lightning speed, but that's just not everyone's reality. Some of us have goals that we telling people we're chasing, but a moment of solitude will show you that you're not. And you'll reflect on your work ethic, and you'll reflect on, is your goal, is it really your goal, or is that someone's goals that you copy and paste into your life? That kind of reflection happens when you're alone. And don't get me wrong, I know that kind of moment is scary. And a lot of people avoid solitude because they don't want to deal with those things. They don't want to be honest with themselves. Most people who lie to themselves first. And they do it loudly and they do it often. And so moments of silence can reveal the truth, and that can be a scary thing. And so I encourage you to get into solitude because reflection is good for your soul. It's really an amazing peace that you get when you realize what the truth of your life is. And that can only happen in solitude and reflection. The second thing is slowness. This world we live in is the fastest world that's ever existed. The way that news is disseminated, the way that trends catch on, the way that knowledge is spread, it all moves at a faster speed than any other humans have ever had to process. And so in that regard, we need to actively pursue slowness. There's no mistake in the causation of the that anxiety is higher than it's ever been across the world, across demographics. There's a direct causation with the speed that we do life. And we know this because when you go to places where they're not as plugged into the internet and they're not as plugged into social media, life is 100% slower and the people are happier. And for those of us in the West, those of us that live in fast countries, a lot of times that seems to be a paradox, or and it seems to be an irony where people that have less, that know less, are happier, right? And we may pity them, but I think the opposite is really what's happening. Is they pity us because we are so anxious, because we are turned on all the time. I don't have any problem sleeping, praise the Lord. But in the last 5-10 years, I've met more people than I ever have met that can't go to sleep. And these are people that I've known for a long time, and they never had this problem until recently. And it's so interesting because sleep is as human as breathing. And so to be struggling with something that we naturally need, to me, it reflects that we're getting something we don't. And I think it's overwhelming, and we are overstimulated. I make fun of people who say that, but I think as a whole, we are overstimulated. And so spending time in solitude, phone down. Sometimes people like to do lights off. I don't think I do lights off, but just a quiet space. No phone, no TV, no noise, no music, just quiet will give you the opportunity to be slow. And I think that's important, okay? For some of you, that pause right there, you just fast forward. You was like, whoa, what happened? You couldn't even sit in that space. Come on, we can do better. We are supposed to be better. Number 3, increase your focus. This kind of goes with the slowing down, but more so now than ever, we are unable to focus. Gen Z is the first generation of humans that are dumber than their predecessors. New generation is dumber than the old. That has never happened before. This is the first generation in history where the new generation is dumber than the old. But the biggest reason is because they can't focus. I deal with them all the time in the schools. They really can't focus. They struggle to focus. And a lot of that is because we struggle with solitude. We struggle with solitude. Growing up, I remember my mom didn't allow me to say the word bored. Like I never could tell my mama I'm bored, because she would give me a book, maybe write sentences, whatever. But it was that concept did not exist within my childhood. I could not be bored because there was always space for me to create. I could write, I could draw, I could imagine, but it was in the silence of being entertained that I myself became entertaining. that I became imaginative, that I became creative. And so we have forgotten that those exercises is what builds those muscles. And we've bought into the idea that we are supposed to be entertained from the moment we wake up to the time we go to sleep. And that has disallowed us from being able to focus over a length of time and to focus deeply. And that is required. That is what is required to be great, to be excellent. You know, I talk about crew excellence in the beginning, then my people, then my folk. We have the capacity for excellence, but if we cannot focus, we will never reach it. We will never feel it. We will never expand it. And you have to be intentional in building up the muscle of focus. Because if you're not, you'll end up distracted. You'll end up distracted. And I did an episode on that. I probably will link it in the description. But I did an episode on avoiding distraction. And solitude is one of the ways you can limit your distraction. When you practice solitude, you'll be surprised at how more peace you have with being undistracted and with being focused. But I don't want you to become a monk, right? I don't want you to just run in your room and never talk to anybody, because community matters too. And so I'm gonna give you 3 ways that you can use community to become a balanced person, right? So once you master solitude, I want you to also master community, because we are pursuing excellence in all aspects of our life. Number 1 is empathy. In community is how you learn empathy. When someone else is feeling pain, when someone else is feeling joy, when someone else is feeling accomplished or feeling frustrated or defeated, you learn how to feel that too in community. You learn how to value that too in community. People that struggle with empathy are not good people, okay? And so you part of being a well-rounded person is to be able to say, I don't feel that way, but I understand why you do. That is human. That is one of the most basic human things you can do, is go, that doesn't impact me, but I understand how it impacts you and why you feel that way. And you learn that in community, okay? You learn that in community. Number 2 is perspective. I may feel a type of way about something, but you may feel a very different way about the exact same thing. And that perspective can help me a ton. I am one of those people, I am always open to having my perspective change. This might sound crazy, but I remember arguments. I'm always in a lot of sports debates because I love sport and I love basketball specifically. And so one of the debates that popped off recently was James Harden versus Dwayne Wade, right? And I was on the James Harden side. I like Dwayne Wade, but I was like, man, James Harden in the regular season was different, dog. Like, I remember them standing behind him to guard him in a basketball game in the NBA. It was ridiculous. Where they was like, we'd rather you shoot a layup than a step back 3. That is bonkers. And I still believe that's crazy. But talking with some people, listening to their perspective, I moved and I'm like, you know what? Y'all are probably right. I think Dwayne Wade's better. But it took me being in community, hearing other perspectives to change my mind. And I don't, because I wouldn't have come to the conclusion by myself because I thought I was right. And so perspective and community is healthy because you are given opportunities to spar intellectually with people that you care about in a space that is safe. And so community allows that. And so you need it. You need it. And then the third thing is the collective. This is what community allows. Community allows you to fit into something bigger than yourself. And if you don't know this, all humans have that desire. From the pastor to the atheist, from the 4-year-old to the 90-year-old, person in Australia to the person in Nigeria to the person in the North Pole. We all have this desire to be a part of something bigger than ourselves. We all do. And being in community helps you scratch that itch. It helps you realize we can accomplish something. We can get something done. That's why sports are so important for youth. You get a chance to be on a team and we won the game and we had a good season and you get to be a part of the we. And that is a really good thing for humans, because when you're by yourself, you often think of yourself more important than you should. But when you're in community, it can help balance your ego. And that is unequivocally a good thing. And I made that word up, but whatever. That is a great thing, to have your ego balanced in community. I love my friends. They tell me all the time I'm not as important as I think I am. And I need to hear that because when I'm by myself, I think I'm sweet and I'm really important. And they be like, we don't care. And I'm like, thank you. Thank you. Because I need to be on, I need humility. And we all do. And community provides that. And at the same time, I get to be a part of their lives in a way that helping people move impacts me not at all. Right? I don't get to experience this couch, this bed, these lights, this air. This is your house. But I get to be a part of something bigger than me. And that is important. Now, I'm aging out. If you think of any ideas about moving, I'm aging out, okay? Get some movers or hire some young boys. But there is a beauty of community where we get to be a part of something bigger than ourselves. And that is a human desire that has always existed. And so my hope for this episode, and I was just really confronted with the importance of solitude, and then also the importance of community on the backside. And I was like, Crew Excellence wants to hear about this. So I talked about it. And so I hope that you got something today. I want you to do two things. I want you to set a date for community, find some friends, put it on the calendar, spend some time with them. Okay? You don't have to be for anything other than you need them and they need you. And the second thing I want you to do is carve out 30 minutes in a day to sit in silence. 30 minutes. That might be crazy if y'all ain't never did it before. Do 10, okay? Do 10. 30 minutes is what I used to do. I need to do it more often. But just do 10. 10 minutes, no phone, no TV, no music, just you breathing, okay? And just see what happens. All right, man. Until next time, it's Memorial Day weekend. I'm going to eat some good barbecue. And if you ain't from Kansas City, your barbecue's not good. All right, man. I love y'all, man. Till next time, I'm Justin, the host of The Ladder. Peace.